By now, you've likely heard the news that US aid grants, about 90% of them were terminated, effective immediately. Now, over the last 6 weeks, you've been hearing us talk a lot about the freeze in foreign assistance, but this is a far more devastating development as it permanently ends funding for our life-saving work in its entirety. Now, you know that millions of people around the world rely on humanitarian assistance funded by the US government for their very survival. And the end to this funding now puts lives at risk, lives that World Relief has fought really hard to save. The cuts also impact our refugee resettlement program. Our public-private partnership with the government that has existed as a bipartisan supported effort for the last 45 years has been cancelled. Even as we grapple with this news today and decide how to move forward, we want to ensure you have the latest information about this devastating development. World Relief issued a press release asking the administration to reconsider and restore life-saving humanitarian assistance projects. As we did this, we were also forced to notify thousands of our staff across the globe that their jobs had disappeared overnight. Jobs that fed millions of starving children, jobs that prevented devastating disease, jobs that ensured babies were delivered safely, and jobs that provided food and shelter to refugee families. These cruel and historic actions have completely altered the world for millions of people this week. They will mean loss of life, loss of stability, loss of hope, and even more fragility around the world. But here is what we want to emphasize now. Our calling has not changed. Our mission has not changed. We are being tested and knocked down, but as people of faith, we will rise up and we will continue to fight. We will continue to love. We will continue to work. Every dollar we raise at World Relief to continue our life-saving work, we will put into action to preserve life even in the bleakest of circumstances and against all odds. We will not turn our back on the orphan, the widow, or the stranger among us because we believe that God has called us, his people, and his church for such a time as this. When the world fails, when all else fails, he remains. The people of God will remain. Will you stand in the gap for us and for the millions of suffering families? Give today and save a life.